A day? The day after the awards, sorry, not a day. Whimsicott rides the winds.
Whoa, that's a lot of Whimsicott.
Sure is. They ride through on seasonal winds every year.
I hear they can be real pranksters.
If they get in a house they like, they scatter cotton everywhere.
Sounds like a pain to clean up.
Yep. The sweet smell of coffee is calling my name.
It's the perfect Pikachu bait.
Tim!
Hey, it's Frank again. The city police inspector.
Inspector Holiday, did you finally find my dad?
Sorry. No. I'm here on a different case. We've received reports of a jewel theft. Could you lend me a hand with this one?
Of course.
The incident occurred at the Dennis residence, the mansion down the street. Sorry, but Brad is waiting for me. I'll go ahead and meet up with you there.
So much for my coffee.
Okay, let's go, Pikachu. Wait a second, Tim. What for? There's no need to rush. You've got to You gotta be calm and unhurried if you want to do your best investigating. Yeah, I guess that's true. Pikachu is a real talkative Pokemon. If you see this Pikachu icon on the lower left corner of the screen, you can press the right button to chat with him. Sometimes Pikachu will try to get your attention, and a Pikachu icon will bounce to let you know he wants to talk. If you see this icon bouncing, press the right button to hear what Pikachu has to say.
Look, I know we need to hurry, but would it really hurt if we relaxed a bit? For instance... Oh, here's a good idea. You could listen to some sage advice from a great detective like me. Okay.
But Holiday's waiting. We'd better go join him. Oh my god. All these Pokemon. Hurry-ya! Poliwrath and a Hariyama. They're squaring off. You could cut the tension with a knife. It looks like a fight could break out any second. We should probably avoid this alley so we don't accidentally set them off. Oh no, Hariyama's facing off against Poliwrath again? Why does he act like this? He's usually so gentle. Is something wrong? My partner, Hariyama, loves showing off his strength, especially when he can test it against someone else's. And since Poliwrath is also proud of its muscles, Hariyama considers it his rival. Once they start going at it, it's hard to stop them. Yikes! Guess we better avoid the alley for now. He figured it out. Something's shining in the fountain. What could it be? Inkay, little jump scare. Inkay! Whoa, I knew it was something. It was a... Oh, I knew I saw something. It was a Pokemon. That's an Inkay, Tim. It lights up its spots to communicate with friends. Never figured that it'd use those lights to lure someone in close enough for a prank. Yeah, it definitely surprised me. Inkay! Inkay! Hey, Inkay, maybe go easy on the jump scares, okay? No, don't. Step them up. Great job, Maractus. Your dancing is so cute. From the top. 1, 2. 1, 2. Nothing in the barrel? Ah. There he is.
Tim!
I appreciate you coming on such short notice, Tim. This way! The crime took place at the Dennis residence up ahead. For Christ's sake. Oh, not Buddy McFuckface. God, I hate this man. I don't even remember everything, but I hate him. Sorry, I just need to reply to Jake. Oh no, alright, yeah, that's fine.
Well, 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 if it isn't the great detectives.
I hate you. Brad McMasters, Rhyme City Police fuckface. I mean, Lieutenant. Manectric, dedicated to law and order. Good show. It's been a while, Brad. I see you're on the case too? I suppose that means you are well as well. You private detectives do love sticking your nose into every little thing. If Mr. Dennis hadn't requested you personally, I'd be asking you to leave right now. Yep, he's still a jerk. Thinking he's still holding a grudge for what that time we showed him up? Maniac. He says no funny business. Sheesh! No wonder you two are partners. That's enough, Brad. We're going to conduct this investigation together. I forgot his voice already. This is the scene of the crime, right? Yes, this mansion belongs to Sanjeev Dennis, a jeweler. Dennis Residence. Mr. Dennis is one of the wealthiest men in Rhyme City. Under normal circumstances, a civilian like yourself would never have the opportunity to meet him. Make sure you don't do anything to offend him. Oh, and don't get in the way of our investigation either. He's just got to get a dig in somewhere, doesn't he? Okay, Tim, come inside. Who? What? Who? MJ! The missing jewel. That was cool. Hello. Okay, I noticed the window's open. Lugia!
I see.
Alright, Tim. Mr. Dennis is waiting for you in the room to the right. Thanks, Inspector Holiday. Doesn't mean I just don't want to run around for a sec. Now this is beautiful.
Oh, Tim, I've been waiting for you.
Might be able to remember your voice. Sanjeev Dennis, the jeweler. Rowleth, guard at the Dennis residence. My name is Sanjeev Dennis. I'm a jeweler, and this is my partner, Growlith. I'm Detective Tim Goodman, and this is my partner, Pikachu. Sorry to jump right into it, but could you please tell us what you know about the incident?
Oh.
A precious jewel was stolen while I was out of the house. It's called the Aurora Drop, and it's a very rare jewel indeed. The Aurora Drop? What a mysterious name. Magical, even. The thief injured one of my staff members and made off with the jewel. Thankfully, my staff member's injuries were minor. And yet, is something sticking out to you as odd? Well, the police are treating my trusted butler as the prime suspect. You think the butler did it? They think the butler did it? Could you tell me a bit more about the stolen jewel? It looks like this. Most gemstones must first be cut and polished into beautiful jewels, but the Aurora drop is said to have naturally formed into its shape. The way it shines like a bit of... oh my god, an aurora. Yes, that's precisely how it got its name. The Aurora drop has been the subject of many a tale, but it was thought to be nothing more than fiction. Even among us jewelers, for the longest time we called it the Jewel of Legend. Wow, he wasn't kidding when he called it precious. Guess it's no surprise that someone wanted to steal it. It definitely sounds valuable. Where were you displaying it? I kept it securely locked within a special reinforced case inside my jewel storage room. There are locks on both the storage room door and the reinforced case. And yet, despite all the security, it still got stolen? You mentioned the police already have a suspect? Yes, they believe that the thief is my own trusted butler, Barnes. Why do they think that? Because Barnes and I are the only two people who can access the key to the storage room. What's keeping someone else from getting it? The key is always kept around Growlithe's neck. If anyone but Barnes or myself attempted to take it from her, Growlithe would start barking. My Growlithe is very loyal Pokemon. She would never allow the key to be taken by a stranger. I don't see the key around Growlithe's neck right now. The police think Barnes took it. That would certainly make sense, assuming Barnes really is the culprit. Mr. Dennis, if possible, I'd like to talk to Barnes. He's currently being questioned by the police. But you don't believe Barnes is a thief? Is that correct? I've known Barnes since we were young. He's worked in this home for years and has always served us well. I'm certain that he'd never steal from me. Oh my god, I'm yawning again. And I couldn't possibly imagine him hurting anyone. So, you're saying Barnes didn't do it, and the real culprit is still at large? That's right. Someone else must have stolen the jewel. Please help me prove that Barnes is innocent. Ah, so that's why he called us here. To clear his butler's name. We'll talk to Barnes later. So, finding the Aurora drop and clearing Barnes of suspicion. Those are the two things you called us to do? Would you please? You're the only ones I can count on. Our job is investigating the case and revealing the truth. We won't know if Barnes is truly innocent until we look into this more. Yep, the police must have at least some reason to suspect him. But we'll do what we can. If that's acceptable to you, we'll take the case. That's more than acceptable. Thank you, Tim. Great. In that case, may I start investigating the scene of the crime? Of course. The jewel storage room is just upstairs. I know you won't let me down. Wait a second, Tim. There's something I want to try. Starting with this case. Something you want to try? Yeah, a case notebook. The writers for Detective Journal swear by it. Detective Journal? That's the magazine you're always reading, right? Yeah, that's the one. They researched the most effective way for detectives to organize their case notes. The solutions they come up with was a case notebook. Sounds intriguing. How does it work? I'm getting to that. First, open up your notebook. First, let's write in the notebook any burning questions that arise while we're investigating. We'll summarize the testimony and evidence that were gathered during our investigation on the page below. God. After we've collected enough testimony and evidence to deducing option will appear. When you select this, we can start deducing the answers to our questions. We don't have enough testimony or evidence right now, but once we do, we'll be able to start deducing. I guess actually using the notebook is the best approach. So Tim, what do we have to do right now? We have to collect testimonies and evidence to figure out how the jewel was stolen. To do that, we first have to investigate the scene of the crime. That's right! Let's go check out that jewel storage room. Aww. It's Dennis's partner's Pokemon. She sure doesn't look happy. Aww. Apparently she feels responsible. No wonder she's so down. Maybe we should leave her alone for a while. Looks like some dueling tools have been left in here. I wonder if Mr. Dennis uses this room as a study too. Actually, I want to know what happens if I do this. The name of this painting is Golden Sunrise, and it depicts Ho-Oh, a Pokemon that's spoken of in legends. They say it brings eternal happiness, and that its wings shine like rainbow-coloured light. Rainbow-coloured light, huh? The painting sure is beautiful, but I'll bet the real thing is even more breathtaking. The name of this painting is Silver Waves, and it depicts Lugia, a Pokemon known as the Guardian of the Seas. It's rumoured to live deep on the ocean floor, but no one's ever seen it. That makes sense. The ocean floor is not exactly a place you'd just casually visit.
Oh,
What's all this? Pokemon feathers? Sure looks like it. They're scattered all over the floor, and the window's open. Maybe a Pokemon got in, or out, through here. Do you think it has anything to do with the case? Look at this. One of these feathers is darker than the others. You're right, the other 6 are a lighter shade of blue. Something about this is nagging at me. Does that mean I write it down? No. The jewel storage room has been left exactly as it is at the time of the incident. Inspector Holliday's already filled me in. Please go right ahead.
yes.
Thank you. What is it, Pikachu? I checked out the door, but there's no signs of forced entry. Then we can be fairly certain that the thief used a key to get in. According to Dennis, this room's where the Aurora drop was stored. Let's take a closer look. I'll open them. What a beautiful jewel. It's so clearly sparkly. Absolutely brilliant. A green jewel. That fresh green colour reminds me of the forest. Just looking at it is calming. This area looks more disturbed than the rest. Let's start investigating. We might find a clue. Alright, don't let any details slip past you, Tim.
Let me see.
Where should we look first? Let's start with that. Here's a blue feather. Do you think the Pokemon it belonged to was in this room? Maybe. It's from a Pokemon that lives in the mansion. Let's look into that feather. This is the only case that's damaged. Must be where they kept the Aurora drop. The edge looks like it was sliced clean with a blade. What kind of blade could slice this cleanly through? Oh, what kind of blade could slice cleanly through such a sturdy jewel case?
Hey, Tim! Check it out! Looks good, huh? Disguises are a key part of detective work, you know.
Yeah, whatever. Now quit goofing off and investigate.
He clearly doesn't appreciate my art. Perhaps I need to give him a little more training.
There's some cotton on the ground. It looks really fluffy and soft. What's a bunch of cotton doing in here? Looks like part of the jewel case. Based on the shape, do you think the top half of the case was cut off? Yeah, it looks that way. It's a really clean cut. Slicing it must have taken some seriously sharp blade. I doubt a human could pull that off. The base of the jewel case is firmly fixed to the floor. Yeah, moving the case doesn't even look possible. Did I not finish up here? The jewel case is still locked. Like Dennis said, the jewel in the case was stored under lock and key. And the key to the jewel case is a different key than the one the jewel storage room door. I wonder who has the key then? I don't see anything else worth investigating.
Okay, let's start deducing. Okay.
You probably figured out how the culprit stole the jewel by now, eh? Alright, select begin deducing in the case notes.
Okay.
We have a few plausible theories. Which do you think is right? The culprit hasn't actually stolen the jewel yet. The culprit may not have taken the Aurora drop out of the jewel storage room. Instead, it may be hidden in among the cotton fluff scattered throughout the room. The culprit opened the case and stole the jewel. The culprit somehow cut open the jewel case to steal the Aurora drop. And the culprit unlocked the case. No, well, he didn't do that. He cut it. Okay, from what we've seen of the crime scene, we can tell that the jewel case was sliced open. After that, the Aurora drop was removed from the case and taken away. Right. And we saw that the jewel case was still locked, which supports that claim. We still need to investigate more to determine how the case was sliced open, but at least we know that how the thief got their hands on the Aurora drop. Yeah, we've made our first step forward.
Okay.
You understand how to use the case notebook now? Yep. Once I've got some evidence, I'll start deducing. Feel free to start deducing whenever you feel like it. After investigating the scene, we now know how the crime was carried out. We can be certain that the culprit sliced open the case and took the jewel from inside. But there's just one thing that's strange. Oh yeah? Yeah, think, Tim. What's strange about the way the crime was committed? Yeah, the glass was cut, but the door wasn't.
Oh,
The door to the storage room was open with a key, but the jewel case was still locked when it was sliced apart. That's right. So that means the thief only had one of the keys, the one to the storage room. They didn't have the key to the jewel case. According to Mr. Dennis, Only he and Mr. Barnes can access the jewel storage room. I understand why the police suspect Barnes, but I'm not sure. Obviously, it'd be the best if we could talk to Barnes ourselves, but he'd still be in question. We need to ask Mr. Dennis about the lock to the jewel case. Right. After we wrap up here, let's go ask him. How's the investigation going, Tim? Oh, Mr. Dennis. Sorry, I couldn't stand just waiting around. Have you discovered anything? It does appear that the culprit used the storage room key to gain entry. We believe that they then cut open the jewel case and took the Aurora drop. Is that so? I suppose that doesn't help Barnes much, since he has access to the key. I have a question for you, Mr. Dennis. Who has the key to the jewel case? I have it right here. I always carry the key to the jewel case on my person. I've known Barnes a very long time, but I still won't give him this key. The security of the jewel case is my personal responsibility. Got it. So both Barnes and Dennis can access the key to the jewel storage room. But only Mr. Dennis has access to the key to the jewel case itself. That's valuable information, Mr. Dennis. Thank you. Really? I thought I might be getting in the way, but I'm glad to hear I could help. The Aurora Drop is meant to become a symbol of revival for Rhyme City. Anyway, I'm counting on you too, Tim. Symbol of revival? Let's ask Dennis about that later. The thief cut open the case to steal the jewel, but they had the key to get on into the storage room. And the only people who have access to that key are Dennis and Barnes. So it makes sense that the police would suspect Barnes. Oh my god! If the key hadn't been used to unlock the storage room, Barnes wouldn't be under suspicion in the first place. Why would he do that, knowing people would suspect him? Maybe he didn't think that far ahead. In any case, based on what we've found at the scene of the crime, we can't be certain of anything just yet. We need to talk to Barnes and the other people in the mansion and hear what they have to say. Not just the people, the Pokemon too. I'll interpret for you when we talk to them. Alright, I'm counting on you, Pikachu. Okay, now that we've got our next step figured out, let's start interviewing everyone right away. Okay, so there's no exterior entry to this room. Okay, I didn't know if that'd get recorded. Can I go in here?
Whoa!
We may be investigating a crime, but we should still respect the residents' privacy. We shouldn't go barging into rooms that have nothing to do with the case, Tim. True. We need to focus on the jewel storage room. Oh, well. No. Alright, I'm just going to BRB for a moment, and I'll be back. Alright. Sorry about that. Now, where were we? Let's start with the human.
You certainly don't look like you're with the police. State your business.
Claudia Dennis. Sanjeev Dennis. Okay. We're detectives. Mr. Dennis asked us to investigate the incident that occurred here. Excuse me. Detectives? Oh, I suppose my husband did say something about that. Your husband? That must mean you're Claudia Dennis, Sanjeev's wife. I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind if we ask you some questions? I do mind, actually. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. The case has already been solved. What do you mean? The police say that Barnes is behind all this, so the matter's settled. We've heard that he's under suspicion, yes, but we can't be certain if it was Barnes who committed the crime. You sound like my husband. Up a little bit, please. but nothing you say will change the fact that Barnes is the culprit. Barnes's partner, Ducklet, was up to no good. I saw it with my own eyes. Did you witness the crime? Barnes's partner, Ducklet, was involved in the crime? You look as though you don't believe me. About what you witnessed.
Excuse me?
Is it true that you witnessed the crime? Well, I didn't exactly see it clearly. Huh? But I did witness some irrefutable proof. What exactly did you see? At the time of the incident, I was enjoying a cup of tea in my... I'm trying to get a voice that's not in my room. Just then, I noticed a bird Pokemon flying outside the window. A bird Pokemon? Yes, I clearly saw a blue bird Pokemon. It had to have been Ducklet. We did find some blue feathers near the window in the storage room. So those were Ducklets? In hindsight, she was obviously stealing the jewel. I also heard a faint sound just before that, like something metallic. A metallic sound? Do you know what could have made that noise? No, I don't. But the storage room was ransacked, wasn't it? I suppose she must have broken something in that act. And I've heard it confirmed that Ducklet's feathers were found in the room. Isn't that proof enough that Barnes is the culprit? She's pretty darn convinced for her own theory. But all it's based on is metallic sound in the side of a flying blue bird Pokemon? Pretty flimsy if you ask me. Yeah. I'm sorry, Miss Dennis, but that information alone isn't enough to definitely prove Barnes is the culprit. Then hurry up and find whoever it is and get that jewel back. Isn't that what my husband hired you for? I get that she's upset, but she doesn't have to take it out on us.
Excuse me?
Mr. Dennis seems confident that Barnes is innocent. Oh yes, I'm sure he is. He's always been too trusting, especially when it comes to Barnes. Those two really trust each other that much? I'm told Barnes has worked here for a very long time, much longer in fact than I've known Sanjeev. I suppose that's why Barnes is always taking my husband's side. What do you mean by that? Whenever my husband and I have a disagreement, Barnes inevitably sides with Sanjeev, even though I'm sure he believes he's being impartial. The lack of self-awareness is yet another one of his many flaws. I get the feeling that Claudia's not a huge fan of Barnes. Do you think that's why she's so sure he's the thief?
Excuse me?
Could you tell me more about Ducklet? Ducklet is Barnes's partner. She dotes on him tirelessly, and it's always by his side. You mentioned earlier that she might be involved in the crime somehow. Would Ducklet be capable of such a thing? Yes. She even helps Barn out with his shopping. She'd certainly be capable of making off with a jewel. Well, whether or not Ducklet stole the jewel, the one thing that seems certain is that she really loves Barnes.
Yes?
The Aura Drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. Mr. Dennis told me the same thing. But do you really understand? Can you even comprehend just how valuable that is? Huh? I knew it. Just look at those blank expressions. Hey, my face always looks like this. As it is, I'm not even sure my husband understands the true value of that jewel. After getting his hands on something so precious, why would he want to donate it to Rhyme City? So you're against donating the Aurora Drop? Of course I am. Treasures like that aren't meant to be paraded about for the general public. Well, they should be preserved for quite obvious reasons. Oh, yeah, for a select few. Hard to imagine her quietly doing anything. Alright. What are you doing? Excuse me, Kyrie. Sit. There you go. And sit like that. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to the one I like better. Clefable. All ears for Mansion Gossip. Oh yes, you're gonna be a help. Phoebe! Oh, it's Clefable. Mrs. Dennis's partner, apparently. Can I ask you a few questions? Phoebe! Whoa, what gives? No need to be so rude. What's wrong? Seems like she's real suspicious of us. Maybe she's feeling sensitive after the incident here. Alright, booyah. You, I need to talk to you. Oh. Cheer up, Growlithe. Ask me anything you'd like. What makes the Aurora Drop a symbol of revival? Oh. 2 years ago, during the R incident, my jewel shop suffered considerable damage. Wait, you were a victim of the R incident? Yes. Some Pokemon who'd been exposed to R went berserk. They rampaged, destroyed my shop, to say nothing of the damage done to my jewels and other goods. By that time, I already had the Aurora Drop. I kept it stored safely in the shop. So was the Aurora Drop damaged too? No. As a matter of fact, it wasn't. Of all the jewels in my shop, the Aurora Drop was the only one to remain unscathed. In fact, debris fell so perfectly around the Aurora Drop that you might believe it was being protected. That's incredible. I guess there's some magic left in the world after all. Ever since then, the Aurora Drop became known as the jewel that survived the R incident. People started visiting my shop just to see it. And thanks to all that attention, my business was able to get back on its feet. Sounds like a valuable jewel. Is there in more ways than one? What made you decide to bring it back to your mansion instead of keeping it at the shop? I decided to donate it to Rhyme City. The Aurora Drop? But why donate something so precious to you? It's not just precious to me. And that's exactly why I decided to donate it. Kyrie, how do you want to sit? You want to be flipped like a baby? Yeah, just wait. I'm getting there. There you go. Happy now? You're such a baby. Everyone can see it. Mayor Myers has done his part in improving our city by declaring the start of Pokemon Friendship Week. I thought it was about time I did mine. So I wanted to donate that jewel that survived the R incident as a symbol of Rhyme City's revival. I hope that by doing so, I can help liven up not just my shop, but that whole city as well. Wow, Detective Dennis, I'm impressed. I mean, why did I say detective? That's a wonderful gesture. I'm glad you think so. Not everyone is so pleased about it. Oh? Forget I said anything. I shouldn't burden you with concerns over such personal matters. For now, I'm counting on you to find the Aurora Drop as quickly as possible. Understood. We'll do everything we can. Who's this clearly gay worker?
Hello there, Detective Tim. Oh, I mean, Detective Goodman?
Are you flirting, Larry? You're a staff member on Dennis' residence. Wait, you are the detective, right? That's what Mr. Dennis said, at least. The name's... Wait, no, that's not proper enough. Sorry. My name's Larry Turner, and I'm a member of the house staff. House staff? Seems in over his head. If you need anything, just let me know. I mean, please inform me if... You really don't have to be so formal with us. Thanks, that's a huge relief. I got this job a while ago, but I'm still not used to talking all fancy. Oh, is that a problem? Well, it's a good thing for me that Barnes deals with all the important guests. My main duties are taking care of the Pokemon, managing the house and groundskeeping. And I can handle all that, no problem. I don't know, this guy isn't exactly filling me with confidence in his ability to do his job. Anyway, you wanted to ask about what happened, right? I mean, I already told the police everything I know. I'm really sorry for taking up more of your time. Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm not complaining or anything. It's just that I don't remember what happened very well. Something attacked me out of nowhere and I blacked out. Something attacked him? So not the thief then. Can you please... Oh, sorry, wrong person. Can you please tell me some more about that, Mr. Turner? Sure, no problem. Right, so where to start? I was just doing my job, like normal today. I'd made food for the Pokemon, some cleaning around the mansion, that sort of thing. I think I was tidying the garden when it happened. I saw a ducklet fly out of a second-story window. As I recall, I wondered where she was going. I mean, usually ducklet just walks out the front door. It seems weird to me, so I went upstairs to see what was going on. That's when I saw that door to the jewel storage room was wide open. As if that wasn't shocking enough, the moment I went to look inside, I suddenly got punched by a Pokemon. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the sofa and someone was treating my wounds. A Pokemon punched you? Yeah! I feel like I glimpsed a small red figure for just a moment. Based on the size, it couldn't have been human, so I'm guessing it was a Pokemon. A red Pokemon. Do you know what kind it was? I'm really not sure. It all happened so quickly fast. I see. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad you weren't seriously hurt. Haha, that's what the doctor said too! No Pokemon would want to steal the Aurora Drop. It's possible that the culprit ordered their partner, Pokemon, to swipe the jewel and punch out Turner. So Tim, now that you've heard Turner's story, what do you think? We need to find the ducklet that flew out of the window. And that red Pokemon too. Yep, you got it.
Excuse me?
Did you see anything else when the Pokemon attacked you? The thief who brought the Pokemon along was probably nearby. Unfortunately, that's all I saw. I see. Can you think of any other detail that might give us a clue or something about the culprit? Nothing in particular is coming to mind. I mean, Mr. Dennis is such a nice person. I've never heard of anyone holding a grudge against him. And I was really surprised to hear that Barnes is a suspect. You don't think Barnes is responsible? I guess the police must have some reason to suspect him, but honestly, I just can't believe it. Barnes is still showing me the ropes around here. He's a great co-worker with tons of experience. I mean, if you'd known Barnes before all this, you could never imagine him being a thief.
Excuse me?
Do you know anything about the stolen jewel? The Aurora Drop? I've never even seen the thing. It's been shut up in that storage room since, it was brought back to the house. Of course, I know it's valuable and all. I assume that's what's been causing all the arguments between Mr. and Mrs. Dennis lately. What sort of arguments? In case you hadn't heard, Mr. Dennis said he was gonna donate the Aurora Drop. Seems like Mrs. Dennis is against that plan. They've been fighting about it almost nightly. Every night? It must be really a point of contention. I guess Mrs. Dennis just doesn't want to give up such a valuable jewel. So the Aurora Drop's been driving a wedge between husband and wife, eh? Now then, Mr. Barnes, I will thank you to leave the mansion until further notice. Understood. Hey, it sounds like the police finishing questioning Barnes. Let's go talk to him. Yeah. He definitely has the nose and chin definition of someone not good. How did it come to this? Why are the police so suspicious of me? Excuse me, are you Mr. Barnes? Who might you be? I'm Detective Tim Goodman. Mr. Dennis has hired me to investigate the crime that occurred here. Is that so? My apologies. I am Brandon Barnes. I work here at the Dennis residence as a butler. Do you mind if we speak and ask you some questions, Mr. Barnes? Is how I actually say that. I realize you must be tired since you were just questioned by the police. Please, don't worry about me. If you've been hired by Mr. Dennis, then it is my duty to give you my full cooperation. Thank you. What would you like to speak about first? Let's talk about just going on. Yes, I was away when the incident occurred. It wasn't until after I'd finished my errands and entered the house that I realized something was amiss. I heard Turner cry out from the second floor. When I rushed upstairs, I found him collapsed on the floor in front of the jewel storage case. So that means Barnes was the first. Witness to arrive at the scene of the crime. Did you see the thief or their partner Pokemon? No, nothing like that. Wait, if Barnes ran up the stairs, you'd think he would have run straight into the thief. If he didn't see anyone, could they have escaped from the second floor? Did you check the storage room? Yes. The door was already open, and when I looked inside, I saw that the Aurora Drop had gone. I then contacted Mr. Dennis and the police right away. Is there anyone who can corroborate your whereabouts at the time? I said the wrong word. Unfortunately not. It was only after that Miss Dennis came out of her room to see what the commotion was about, and the only others in the house at the time were Growlithe and Clefable. Naturally, no one can take witness statements from Pokemon, so I'm afraid I have no alibi. His whole voice has changed. I apologize. I'm fucking shit at this. That's where we come in. The Pokemon that live in the mansion might know something. I'll try and make you know something. Mr. Barnes, do you have any idea who the thief might be? Not a clue, I'm afraid. But I do know that Mrs. Dennis and I are the only ones who can Mr. Dennis and I are the only ones who can freely use the key to the jewel storage room. Growlithe guards that key with constant vigilance, so I imagine it would be very difficult for anyone else to take it from her. I suppose it's no great wonder that the police suspect me, given the circumstances, but I would never do something so senseless. At least this confirms that only those two have access to the key.
Yes.
Ducklet is my dear partner Pokemon. Just look at this photo. That's Ducklet with you there. That's adorable. Yes, isn't she adorable? Look at her feathers. Simply beautiful. But that's not all. She's also incredibly clever and even helps me out with my work. Oh, excuse me. I'm terribly sorry. I tend to get a bit carried away when I speak about Ducklet. It's really no problem. You mentioned that she helps you out with your work. What exactly does she do? Let's see. She runs errands for me, such as buying coffee beans from a local cafe. Oh, she buys coffee beans? Nice. There's a place nearby called Hi-Hat Cafe. Perhaps you've heard of it? She regularly goes shopping there by herself. If that's their go-to cafe, then it's gotta be for the Hi-Hat blend. Guess I shouldn't be surprised that Rhyme City's elites have such refined taste. I asked her to go to the cafe today, in fact, but she hasn't returned yet. Could she have wandered off somewhere? Do you have any idea where Ducklet might be? Unfortunately, no. The feathers found at the scene of the crime are Ducklet's, right? Yes. No question about it. But I haven't the faintest idea why Ducklet's feathers would be there. Just the thought of her getting caught up in this crime somehow. I am so worried. I can hardly think straight. Out of all the jewels in Mr. Dennis's collection, he considers the Aurora Drop to be his most precious. He worked tirelessly to acquire it in the first place. You might even say that the Aurora Drop is the physical manifestation, the crystallization of Mr. Dennis's career as a jeweler. I wish nothing but swift retribution on the thief who stole it from him. For someone who speaks so formally, Barnes is a pretty passionate guy, isn't he? Please, Tim, find the Aurora Drop. I beg you. Don't worry, sir. We're on the case.
Well...
Based on Barnes' testimony, I'm really not surprised the police suspect him. Yeah, if only there was another witness at least. About that, aren't you forgetting something, Tim? Huh? Barnes told us that Growlithe and Clefable were in the mansion at the time of the incident. Remember? Oh, right. Maybe the Pokemon saw something. Exactly. You can leave the rest to me. Let's go question him, Tim.
Tim.
Oh, okay.
Yo, Manectric! Working hard? Hey! What did I ever do to you?
I love those. No, I'm not ready yet. Let's try Clefable again. Babe! She still looks awfully suspicious. Let's try again later. Bitch. Hey, Growlithe. Sorry to bug you when you're already feeling down, but would it be alright if we asked you some questions? We're here to catch the thief, and we need your help to do that. Growl? You're willing to talk to us if it'll help Senji? Thanks. Senji? Growlithe's nickname for Dennis, near as I can tell. Oh, right. His full name is Sanjeev Dennis, so I guess Sanji makes sense. Anyway, Growlithe, can we start with the questions? About you, Growlithe. Gotcha. As Dennis's partner, it's your job to guard the mansion, and we already know the key to the jewel storage room was around your neck. Ow! It's important to Dennis, so guarding it is important to you. Makes sense. Wow. She says she's never let anyone other than Dennis or Barnes ever touch the key. So, that's why you feel extra responsible for what happened, huh? She's really got a strong sense of responsibility. Don't worry, the two of us are gonna crack this case.
Well...
Do you remember anything about the time of the incident? You don't know because you were napping? What? Your breakfast was so tasty that you ate too much and it made you sleepy. Huh, been there, believe me. What are you even talking about? You woke up when Barnes got home? That would have been right before all the commotion happened. And when you woke up, your precious key was gone? Yeah, I can tell you're upset. You'll do whatever it takes to help us catch the thief. Thanks. We'll come ask you for assistance if anything comes up. She says Barnes is kind and well-mannered person. He and Dennis are close, and she's never seen them fighting or arguing. Mr. Dennis really does seem to trust Barnes after all. Wow, growl! And Growlers likes Barnes too. Judging from what Growler says, it's hard to think that Barnes is a likely culprit. There wasn't anything in Growler's testimony that could help us prove Barnes' innocence. Only one left to ask, Clefable. I'll do what I can to get Clefable talking to us. Thanks, Pikachu. What if I sneak up behind it? Ew. What? You think with thieves returning to the scene of the crime? You got it all wrong. We're not here to steal anything. We're actually great detectives looking to catch the thief. Please, can you answer some questions? Hey? Yes, really. Come on. You can trust us. Faye? Yeah, help us out. I'm sure Claudia's bad mood will cheer up too. Faye? I just noticed that the lamps have got carbinks on them. They're cute. So you're willing to talk to us? Thanks. Guess Clefable was worried we'd do something bad to Mrs. Dennis.
Hey.
Do you have a job here at the mansion? Hey! Ah, no job per se, unless you count spending time with Claudia. Isn't it tough hanging out with someone so prickly? Hey! Claudia's not a bad person, you say? Sorry, didn't mean to be insulting. Faye! So, Claudia's always arguing with someone or another? But when it's just you and her together, she starts to regret the whole thing? His voice is trying. Ah, I get it now. Your job is to cheer her up when she gets into arguments. Wow, you're actually pretty nice. I bet Clefable's really important to Mrs. Dennis. Did anything strange happen today? Faye? Clefable's saying she got really sleepy while playing in the mansion this morning. Faye! Then she dozed off and doesn't know what happened after that. That's too bad. What do you think of Barnes? Do you get along with him? There you go. Good. Faye! Claudia doesn't like Barnes, so Clefable tries not to have much to do with him. Faye. But she doesn't think Barnes is a bad person. After all, she says, Barnes ran to help Turner when he got hurt. Wait, does that mean Clefable saw Barnes going upstairs to help Turner? Yeah, it's gotta. Clefable, what else can you tell us? Faye? Faye! Clefable was dozing near the front door this morning. When Barnes got home from doing stuff outside, she woke up and greeted him at the door. Faye! Then Clefable and Barnes heard Turner cry out on the second floor, so they both went running upstairs. And that's when, to their surprise, they found Turner on the floor. That means when Turner was attacked, Barnes was still on the first floor. Okay, can I deduct now? The police could begin interviewing. Alright, we've got some useful information. Let's stop for a moment and get our thoughts together. Based on everything we've heard, is there anything that suggests Barnes is innocent? Let's review the information we gathered and see what we come up with. Okay, they're the only ones who can get the key. Doesn't seem, and then it's like Barnes may not be the culprit. He returned to the mansion after when Barnes returned to the mansion. Both he and Clefable heard.
Okay.
We learned that Clefable greeted Barnes when he returned to the mansion, and Growler said she woke up at exactly the same time. Barnes and the others only became aware of the crime after that. Doesn't that mean Barnes couldn't be the culprit? Barnes was on the first floor when Turner was attacked. That would have made it very difficult for Barnes to steal the jewel. I'm not sure we can prove Barnes' innocence with that alone. Yeah, we can't exactly disclose that testimony came from a Pokemon. No one would believe us. It looks like we're going to need other evidence. Oh, looks like we're going to need other evidence to prove his innocence. Woohoo! How can we prove Ivan's innocence? Pokemon testimonies alone are not enough to prove his innocence. Look for stronger evidence. We can't lift the suspicion around Barnes with Clefable's testimony alone. I think we're gonna need some kind of evidence to prove his innocence. But where should we go looking for it? Nothing immediately comes to mind. At times like this, it's best to try and investigate other leads. We might find a thread somewhere unexpected that leads us back to this. To get close to the truth of this case, we've got no choice but to find the Pokemon that Witness saw. Witnesses report seeing a red Pokemon and Ducklet. I wonder if the Pokemon that cut open the jewel case is the culprit's partner. It makes sense to think that, but no such human was seen by the witness. Having said that, though, we might learn something if we can find the red Pokemon. Let's head into the city and get some leads that are on that red Pokemon. I'm sure we'll be able to figure out what Pokemon it actually is. At this point, it seems pretty unlikely that Barnes is the culprit. But then, why did Ducklet leave from the second floor window? Seems unlikely that it's got nothing to do with the jewel thief. Finding Ducklet would be the quickest way to confirm that. Good call. Let's head into the city and look for her. This is cool. I really like how this is working out. Looks like the only way to continue our investigation is to gather info in the city. But where should we go? Should we go after Ducklet or search for the red Pokemon? If you're unsure, why don't we try following Ducklet? I think we have a better lead to go on for that then, for a red Pokemon. Alright, we did hear that Ducklet was supposed to go buy coffee beans today. I'll bet you she went to the High Hat Cafe. You're right, we should probably go and search the cafe. Let's not waste any time, Tim. Let's go.